guys like this video, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you guys are interested in a personal session, check out my website, ReadingsWithBree.com. And now if you guys are interested in some more exclusive content, I now have my Patreon, The Cosmic Circle, Readings with Bree, where you're going to dive into weekly crystal ball and tarot readings, to monthly Q&As, hypnosis recordings, tarot classes, and more. So if you guys want to be an exclusive member and join me on that journey, I'll put the link below. But thank you to each and every one of you for all your love and support. It truly means the world to me, and I just love you guys so very much. So let's dive into the topics for today. What's going on, beautiful soul family? I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for joining me for yet another tarot reading. It's been a while since I've done a pull on the royal family, but I wanted to look at specifically, I seen there was a book that came out regarding from Virginia Giuffre, and this is in regards to, again, the SA and the trafficking and links to Jeffrey Epstein, but also Prince Andrew. And this came up with, I didn't realize there was a book released. I have not read it, but I've seen some recent articles about, which brought me to this video, about Prince Andrew's titles being removed, including the Duke of York, in regards to these claims from Virginia Giuffre and this memoir that she has released. So I wanted to dive into the tarot. I thought we would also, I haven't used my oracles. I'm going to try my true crime oracles today too and see what's coming out. But I thought we would look at the energy behind the book of Virginia Giuffre and her story to see what messages are coming out, and also to look at the energy of the royal family. I think I had a couple emails come in asking about specific questions. So if I have time, I will take a look and see if we can also touch base on that. But let's dive in, lovely souls, and see what messages are coming out when it comes to the energy behind this book for Virginia Giuffre. All right, so let's dive in, lovely souls, and see what messages are coming out. I'm going to use the Celtic Cross Tarot spread today. I'm really enjoying that one. And then we'll pull some of the true crime oracles. So I think the question I'll pull on here is, Spirit, what can you share with us when it comes to the true purpose or the truth behind this book of Virginia Giuffre? Let's see what messages and energies coming out. True hidden energy and real purpose and truth behind the book that Virginia Giuffre has released. I read in one post that this was her wish to still have this book come out, and to expose and go into a lot of the awful things that happened to her. But let's see what the tarot has to say with that energy. So we have the Three of Swords, Three of Pentacles, the Death card, All right, back of the deck is the Hermit. So let's see. I wanted to just pull also here they are, one or two of my oracle decks. What can you share with us, Spirit, when it comes to the true energy and the real purpose behind Virginia The Castle just fell out, you guys, when it comes to also Prince Andrew and the royal family. Wow. I gotta say, these and the tear on the back of the deck, these cards are just fabulous. Can I get one more card, Spirit? We have the Ring that wanted to come out. Okay. All right, so diving in, lovely souls, we have the Three of Swords within the situation of this book. And I do feel like this book was written with pain, with betrayal, with deep emotional truths. But also why I wanted to pull on this is because if she is not, currently present to release and go over this, I mean, how do we know that there hasn't been altercations or changes within the book when it was released? So I really wanted to look at the energy behind this. But initially the intentions with those Three of Swords is about truth, coming through the lens of a lot of trauma. So I do think she was put through a lot of situations and traumas throughout the years. Now the challenge is again the Three of Pentacles, and that's where I was wondering is like how much truth is in the book. Has things been altered? Because the Three of Pentacles is credibility, right? And that's over the challenge. So I have not personally read it. Please let me know if you guys have your perspectives or if you have looked or followed into this case much deeper. But I feel like with this, I do think there is a lot of external maybe parties, publishers that have influenced how it was told. Not, that could represent some potential lies as well, or like a filtered truth. When it comes to that. And that's what I was wondering. And Three of Pentacles in that challenge. So I do think there's a little bit of some red flags with some of the credibility and potential changes that have been made with third parties here. Now, interesting enough, it's like in terms of like what to focus on, we have the Death card. And it does seem a little bit, suspicious with her passing. I did do a video on her quite a while back, and I think I did have quite a bit come up when it came to the energy of like, did she, according to, online, she has taken her life. And I think there's some suspicious situations behind that, because what to focus on, her death, the transition, and this is also focusing on the silencing of trying to protect certain abusers. So interesting with all the stuff coming out. I still can't believe the castle came flying out and linking that to the royal family and Prince Andrew. So I do think that this is going to gain some traction, momentum, with bringing more awareness at the end of the day when it comes to trafficking, you guys, which is a positive note. But I do think that this is still, the Death card is a shift in power and an exposure of corruptions as well. And that's what we want to focus on moving forward, right? One of the biggest things is taking down these rings, you guys. Taking down the rings. We have the rings, and that being linked to, I gotta say, if you guys are big royal fans, you're probably not gonna like this reading, but I have a lot of energy that I've pulled time and time again to see a lot of abuse, a lot of corruption, especially with rings, potentially trafficking rings that are linked to the royal family. And that comes out very strong. Look at, we even have, you guys, we have the castle, and look at the Four of Wands with the castle in the background. What? Look at that, you guys. Holy crow. Okay, let's keep going here. All right, so we have the past. This is the past energy, which is the Page of Cups. And I feel like this is the innocence. When we look at the page and the cups, it reflects her younger self. And I feel like a period of naivety, or her being naive and being pulled into a world she also didn't fully understand. So that's what that past is, and her going through the motions of showing the traumas that she's been through to bring awareness as well. Now, when we look at the strengths, we have the Page of Pentacles coming out, and this is what I can say is like an amplification of evidence as well. I feel like there's very specific details she is very specific about as well when it comes to this, and it feels like within this there is like an honest testimony, but the book itself, you guys, I feel like could be not completely genuine, if that makes sense. It feels like there's some kind of tampering, which we'll get to. I'm curious about the external energy, so we'll get to that in a moment. But again, the Page of Pentacles in this strength area is really showing a bit of rooted in real experiences and real traumas that she did go through within her journey here. Now, when we look at the new future, I have the Ace of Cups, and this is an emotional healing, emotional release. So the true energy intention behind her writing this as well is, I feel like an emotional healing for herself. And it does not just come for her, it comes from the collective. It's shifting the public's response from judgment to more compassion, and to bring awareness to what's really happening behind the scenes, because a lot of us are not aware. If you were to say something such as, the royal family doing this kind of stuff, a lot of people are going to defend the royal family. And, I just have a perspective as I've pulled many times, and I've looked into this, and there's a lot of darkness within these empires, you guys, a lot of darkness. When we look at the advice, we have the Emperor, and I feel like the main thing, you guys, is discernment here, okay? This is structure. It's really looking at things from, I feel like the Emperor really mirrors the royal and the patriarchal system as well. So I think that this is also really linked to Prince Andrew as well. That Emperor energy just gives me a Prince Andrew energy. So it's kind of like the truth is really entwined with control and hierarchy as well. And I still keep thinking, like, with this here, you guys, there could have been things that have maybe not been completely true or authentic within that book, which is interesting. Because when we look at the environment, look at this. We have the Seven of Wands. This is like a fighting opposition. And if she's no longer present in this, let's say, 3D realm, we have that fighting opposition and other people being intertwined with the release of her book here. So I want to say there is still a powerful, let's say, powerful forces maybe from the, let's say, royal family side that are still fighting tooth and nail when it comes to being combative and really trying to fight and stand up. And I think to this day, like if you Google to Prince Andrew, he denies all these claims. I've seen some videos where he was questioned about even meeting her or dancing with her that one night, and he denies it all. From what I've heard. So there's that consistent battle, and that's the external environment. When we look at that, when we look at hopes and fears and the outcome here, I mean, the hopes and fears is standing strong with that Queen of Pentacles. So this is very much, I feel like there's hopes to have her story grounded in help, especially that Queen here is very maternal, very stabilizing, and it feels like it's seeking here to protect and not to provoke, though. Again, I have not read the book, so let me know if you guys have, but I feel like this is just a very big initial momentum to move forward, to bring awareness and to show and to, I guess, storytell and tell people like what exactly happened behind the scenes to bring more awareness to these rings, the trafficking rings as well. So when we look at the outcome, I do think that this is very much like it's a completion, it's a validation. I do think it's being seen as a turning point or a cornerstone of accountability when it comes to freedom, but I still think there's lots of tampering going on within it. So I wanted to also pull some of the true crime oracles as well. But when we look at also the connections with the ring, you guys, and the castle, the castle again is very explanatory. It's like royal power. It's also hidden privileges as well. So it shows that this is confirming for me, from my perspective, you guys, please take what resonates, leave what does not. But for me, this shows also an entanglement with the royal family, more specifically Prince Andrew as well. And the contracts, the ring is arrangements, binding agreements as well. So it does show a lot about karmic ties and karmic links, and shows an involvement underneath the surface. Okay, so I think how I can conclude with that energy is I do think there is a lot of truth and realness to Virginia Giuffre's story. However, I do think there is a lot of, like, we can look at the ring as certain contracts as well. There is like what's published, some of it is, I feel like the framework around it can be curated, or it could be like protected from other parties, from third parties, because that's the challenge here. Okay, so I do think that her story is genuine, and she is explaining what has really happened, but it's just like a lot of like curated energy around the surface as well. So let's pull some true crime oracle as well and see what other messages are coming out here. All right, what do you have, Spirit, when it comes to the energy of this book? What can you share? Second, I think we have I thought I seen another card. Oh, we've got one up. You guys, we have another card that didn't belong in here. Look at what the card is. The Child. That is crazy. We're going to keep that. So look at the Child, the rings, the castle. What can you share with us, Spirit, when it comes to this book being released regarding Virginia Giuffre and her story? So I'm going to try to do the same spread in the oracles. So we have intuition, life insurance, boat, poison and interesting. Okay, poison and drugs, jealousy, fake death, caregiver, cover up, mind control, and power supply. Wow, you guys. All right, so let's see what's going on here now. All right, so sorry, you guys, there's a little bit of a glare on the screen. I'll see. That's not much better. All right, so if we look at the first card, which is representing the situation too, we have intuition, and I feel like the core of the story as well is coming from the inner knowing about needing to speak some kind of truth about this. So it could represent her inner compass that can't be silenced, right? But it's interesting because over the challenge, we also have life insurance here. I don't know what's going on with her and her husband as well, but that keeps coming up to me. We have caregiver over here, and I just keep getting the energy of her husband as well. So within the life insurance, this is protection, survival mechanisms as well. This could lead to like legal settlements. I think she was paid out some money for some stuff as well at some point. But this is kind of the challenge too. So this is to preserve safety and stability. Now, when we look at the what to focus on, interesting enough, we have the boat here. The boat. Do you guys know if there was some kind of boat involved, like actual boat? Interesting here because we have a passage or a transition, but that could absolutely be when we look at the death card in a transition. The boat is could be leaving one reality into another, and it's kind of that crossing the energy fields or crossing the lines here. But there could be something specifically about some form of a boat. You guys, fake death as well. Was that one of the like conspiracies? Like, has she actually passed, or is she still alive? Because we have that fake death card too. I feel like this is just opening up even more questions. So maybe we'll do a part 2 on this. But again, because when we look at the past is drugs and poison. Okay. So that could represent her being, drugged and poisoned when it comes to these rings, and her being essayed and sold as well. I think she talked about that, but it represents numbing, represents manipulation, and how things really happen behind the scene with that past energy. I can't remember exactly how or what the details were of her unaliving herself, but we have that energy of the past as well with the drugs or poison. So again, moving forward at the strengths and looking at the jealousy card here, that's where I feel like it really rolls into her husband as well. This is competition and resentment to those in power as well. So there is like that wanting to really take people in power down and remove their power supply here. So this is really about, I feel like, hidden motives deep inside, also her true intentions to release information here, because there is like envy and jealousy within this, how certain elites just get away with stuff, right? And then when we looked at the outcome, the fake death card, you guys, this is really going to pull into, I think, of a part 2. I can't even remember what I pulled when I did the Virginia Giuffre video months ago. I can't even remember what questions I asked now. But let me know if you guys are more involved in this case, because I'm almost wanting to do a little bit more digging after this. This is kind of crazy, because when we look at 7 with the representation of advice, we have caregiver, and this caregiver could be also something to do with her husband. That's what I keep getting. Caregiver. And then we have something external, a cover up here. And that's where I think the leading up of this book, you guys, there feels like there's misinformation or manipulated information with this energy, or this could also represent a cover up when it comes to how she passed. Okay. There is the sense of mind control as well. Mind control is in the position of, hopes and fears. And when we look at that, I do think, first of all, sorry, to look at the cover up, this is the spin on things, the legal shielding, the media as well, or the public relations trying to control the book. Because this main question when we're looking at the truth behind her book. So when I see this, you guys, there's something funky happening with the truth about the book as well. And then with that mind control, this is also that hidden powers, you guys, shaping the narrative and the perception, mind control and fear of manipulation and programming here, because their power supply is being cut off here. So the final theme here is looking at who's feeding that system, like what is sustaining, what is being silenced. It really ends with like a message of like reclaiming personal power again and bringing awareness to what is happening behind the scenes, because you guys, this does happen. These trafficking rings do happen, and it is awful. They need to be exposed and stopped with all this corruption. So I do think that this book plays a part in it, with even getting people talking and being aware of it. But I do have to say, I still get a bit of a curated energy behind it all, and I'm wondering how much money and finances play into it, and the connections more with her husband, because we've got that life insurance in terms of like what I mean, policies and money. So quite interesting. I mean, let me know what you guys think about this whole situation, and maybe you guys have had more things clue into if you are following the story. So I always love to hear what you guys have to say. But I do want to kind of like end on saying, like, I feel like it suggests that the deeper story, like beyond, there is a deeper story behind this, and it concerns how power manipulates vulnerability, especially with the children here. And once this is spoken, this is put out there, it does begin to dismantle the power supply and the circuitry, okay? So that's what I wanted to share there. Like, look at this. It gives some kind of an illumination on what is happening beneath the surface, okay? Now, I think, I'm trying to think if I want to dive a little bit into the royal family. I think actually I'm going to leave that one for the next video, and we'll touch base on it a little bit more, because I had some questions come in about the royal family and whether or not like King Charles has made pacts with certain spirits, and also talks about the pacts with a green man and the Welsh Celtic gods as well. So I think that we'll leave that one for another video. But I think how we can end on today's video though too is just doing a final tarot card pull. And when it comes to this, let's say memoir released with Virginia Giuffre's story, and the momentum of the royal family and any kind of power or hidden structures in relations to any kind of trafficking or rings. Will there be more exposure there? And will this story, so-called, contribute to more of the awakening of what's really happening behind the scene? Let's see, Spirit, what can you share about the momentum when it comes to the royal family and exposures in the months ahead? What can you share? All right, so the royal family comes out as the devil. All right, Two of Cups. There's that deep state, the hierarchy. Oh my goodness. Look at all these kings, you guys. Wow. All right. Now, again, the royal family coming up, you guys, as the devil is very much a system of corruption and bondage. And it's really rooted in control and secrecy and really dependency as well. So this is a, an empire that feeds off of appearance and tradition. So when we look at the King of Wands in this present energy, this is also like a command of attention and power and leadership. And it's like the public front. Again, when I pulled on the royal family, I've seen like most of them are just characters playing a script. Many takedowns have already happened, but we do have a little bit of that devil energy that's still coming out within the royal family to be exposed. This isn't like a total annihilation, which I was expecting more severe cards to come out, but it shows from, like, again, looking at the Two of Cups is in the situation is showing like partnerships and alliances. So I do think there's certain agreements that I think also with the Vatican I'm getting that hold these structures together. But again, as Mother Earth and Gaia is increasing her vibration and beautiful energy, these inorganic corruptions are falling and cracking. A lot of the times when I pulled on the royal family, I always get the Tower moment, so I'm surprised it hasn't come out again. And maybe we'll pull one oracle on this. But again, this is certain agreements, and also tuning into what I was looking into with the question coming in about certain pacts that these elites and empires make with certain other extraterrestrials or factions or deep states when it comes to that as well. So past energy is that Hierophant, it's the deep state, it's the doctrines and really rooted in lies and old systems of religion, rituals, and monarch archetype. So I feel like this is a legacy of energy that is beginning to be questioned, and it is destabilizing, you guys. It really, really is. But I think that this is still going to roll out, especially with the downfall of the Vatican as well. So that's coming out quite strongly. When we look at the outcome, we have that King of Cups aspected by the Queen of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. So the King of Cups is like emotional maturity, but my King of Cups sometimes is also that king that plays with, the mind, it's psychology, and it's kind of that sneaky king. So when we look at that aspecting the Queen of Pentacles, it feels like this is assessing value, reputation, and sustainability as well. So they're fighting tooth and nail as well to continue to stay sustainable rather than collapse outright. So I feel like with this is a reevaluation of the so-called monarchy and their takedown, because we do have that Four of Swords as well, and that Four of Swords is like more of a strategic silence and a takedown with like into introspection as well. So it feels like that there is truth that is, underneath, that will be surfacing in the months ahead. I don't know why I keep getting like, even like with the Seven of Pentacles, like the next 7 months, like massive outings and information to come out about these empires and monarchies as well. So overall, you guys, I really see this as being like a period of truth resting and truth waiting to be digested by the collective as well. And it's like an old system that's forced to look in the mirror here. Can I get another card when it comes to the energy behind, we got the Mystic, the energy behind the takedown or the dismantling of the royal families or these empires and these monarchies. So this is quite a beautiful way to end it as well, with the mystic and the Gnosis as well, because when we look at the Gnosis, it's like that pure knowing. And I feel like the truth, you guys, cannot stay hidden. It cannot stay hidden because the collective is beginning to be open and be ready to feel it here. And I feel like this book that was put out as well is going to spark some of that. So it feels like the truth cannot continue to stay silent anymore. And when we look at the mystic, this is an energy of the seeker, the directed truth, right? So I can see this as like with the Hierophant, like institutions that once dictated belief, or is where the mystic here is coming through and piercing those illusions, right, of inner knowing. So that's quite a cool synchronicity ending there. So, you know, you guys, let me know what you guys think, but I feel like the awareness is spreading through, you know, through replacing and also using discernment with momentum moving forward. All right. So I love you guys so very much. Again, let me know your thoughts, your tidbits of what you guys get in your downloads. And thank you for joining me on another reading. So I love you guys. And until next time, bye for now.